Hi, and thank you for joining this session on what's new in bank reconciliation, payment reconciliation, and bank deposits. In this session, I will go through some of the new improvements we added in this wave to bank reconciliation. It's the statement report. We also did improvements to the payment reconciliation journal. And we added a completely new feature for most of the world, except for US customers. They will probably recognize this feature, but now you will be able to create bank deposits, and I will show you in a demo later. With all the improvements we did in this release, especially enabling bank deposit as a standard feature, and some of the other ones too, we now feel that we can standardize the bank reconciliation in all the versions. So that means that we want to do it for the North American version that previously also, up until now, and the next two releases allow you to do bank rec in a slightly different way, specific to North America. But we want to move it all to a standard bank reconciliation process. So we'll go through that later. What we have in as new additions is in the payment reconciliation journal, which is a journal. We have now added the posting preview, and you will recognize in this screenshot that this is the extended posting preview. Obviously, it works with the normal one where you get the list of kinds or types of entries, and then you click on them. But it also works with the extended one. And we also added debit and credit fields because it is a journal. You have payments in and out. So sometimes you want to not just see the net, but the actual movements in the journal. So we added those fields to the footer. In the bank statement report, like the report for posted bank reconciliations, we have added the outstanding transactions, the outstanding bank transaction, that's payments and deposits, and outstanding check transactions, so that they appear in this report. They already did in the test report, but they were missing in the statement report. And what is coming not with the release in April, but in a minor release, I actually think in 20.1, we will make sure that the outstanding amount is not just in the header, but it's actually also printed out as details, just like in the test report. And that means that if you're using checks and you're doing a bank rec, I can show it a little later, you will still be able to not clear checks. Like you won't have anything to match with your bank statement because they are obviously not cleared and gone through to your bank. You just leave them, but because they're within the bank reconciliation period, they are outstanding and they will be printed here for the record, and you will have them in the posted bank statements too. So that will come in a minor release. The new feature is bank deposits, and bank deposit it's just cash receipt journal lines, but sometimes you want to bundle them. This is not a point of sale solution or anything like that, but if you're running a small business where you do receive cash and you deposit them to the bank at the end of the day or on a regular basis, you may want to collect that information in a deposit. So you have a deposit slip in your system that matches the deposit that you see in your bank account. So we created the document for that. You pick a bank account, there's a number series set up, you pick a date for when it gets posted, and you can either add GL lines or customer and vendor lines. Like GL lines is obviously if you have sales or if you paid out expenses from cash. Customers could also come to you with cash and apply it, and you would be able to apply that payment to a specific open invoice. And if you wanted, you could pay out with that cash for a vendor's open invoice. The cool thing about bank deposits compared to North American deposit was that you can now, per deposit, there's a default for it, but per deposit you can decide whether you want to post the lines, because there are really multiple cash receipt lines, as a lump sum, or if you want a bank ledger entry for each one of them. Sometimes it's a lot easier to do bank reconciliation if you just post it as a lump sum, because your bank is just going to post one entry for the cash that they received. So you can choose that. We've also improved the management of dimensions, so you can set some default dimensions. They will obviously, just like in documents, if you set something in the header, they will populate as defaults for the lines. You can overwrite the lines if you want to. And we have a control field, so when you're ready, because it's cash, you probably counted the cash, you want to be able to type it in and have an extra control that it matches the lines total. And then it gets posted. Just like a lot of the other features we have documents, there's a test report for it, but we are also going to add an undo action. So it is cash receipt journal lines, so you can always go to the GL register and reverse the register. But obviously you create it as a deposit, so we're going to add an undo posting for the individual deposit, where you just click on that action and it opens the reverse register. It finds the entries for you, or the register for you, and then you can reverse it, making that process a little easier. It will come in the next minor. So with that, I'll just do a quick demo of these features that are for all users in the standard version before we move into a section that is specific to North American users, because they had one way of doing BankRec. We now want them to move to the standard way of doing BankRec, and turning on a feature gives some interesting UI that I want to explain to you, so that you're aware what's going to happen. But let's do a short demo first. This is a standard company. If I open my payment reconciliation journal, you will now see that I have the debit and credit fields. Apparently these are only payments to vendors, so that's why it's only credits. But I have a posting preview. That is the old one, where I can look up the ledger entries and see that they're okay. Just as a reminder, and what I posted in the deck, there's another way of doing posting preview, and that is when you look up, or you set it up differently in your GL setup. In here, you can see posting preview type. It's either standard, or you can choose the extended one. And when I now do posting preview, it will give me the extended one. Extended, maybe we should say extensible. It's a separate page. It gives me the GL entries and the VAT entries right off, because that's in most cases the interesting entries to do a preview of, just to see that they're as they're supposed to be. The related entries, all the other entries that you saw in the standard view, is still there, but you just have to scroll down and find them. You also have the hierarchical view. You can turn it on, so that now you will be able to see it per account, and it's a lot easier to see that you have hit the right account, rather than sifting through maybe hundreds of lines and keep a track of which account were used. So we added that. For bank reconciliation, I'm not going to show very much because it is in the posted report, and as I said, it comes. But I have a test report. I have a BankRec that is ongoing here, and when I do my test report, I go here. The test report, where I can fill out outstanding transaction, that has now been added. You will see, I'll just zoom in a bit. We see that we've added the information up here, and you also, let me scroll down a bit, have the information here. What you can see is that we don't have a cutoff date that matches your bank statement ending date. In this case, like what we did for this release is just to print it out. But of course, if you're doing it backwards in time or catching up on BankRec, you don't want to see all your future entries. So in one of the minor releases, we are going to do the cutoff date to be the statement ending date. So it matches your bank statement. And we're also going to add that section here with the same cutoff date for the posted bank statements. Then let's move on. As you can see down here, I did post some deposits. They will show up, and I can see I can see by the number series that it's a deposit. It also says deposits because I posted this as a lump sum. Some of the other ones that come from a deposit were posted as individual lines. In a minor release, in the next minor release, we'll add an action so you get access to it. So you don't have to look for it. Right now, I'm in a UK version. They didn't have bank deposits before. So if I open this one, I have bank deposits. It's a new feature. It opens this page. I've set up a number series. The number series is set up in, because it is cash receipt, it's sales and receivables. I'll just collapse this one a bit. Bank deposits, where you specify a number series and whether you want the default behavior to be posting deposits as a lump sum or you just want individual lines. In this case, it was turned off, so it's turned off for this deposit, but I can choose to post it as a lump sum. I pick a posting date. I pick, of course, if I have to post income, product, services. Let's say I sold some products. I need a document number, and maybe I sold something else. Services. And a different document number. It could also be that a customer comes into your business with cash in hand and wants to pay an outstanding invoice. That's still possible. In this case, you go in here, you pick a document number, and now you'll be able to apply entries. In this case, there's only one outstanding, so we'll pick that one. Shift F11. And close it just you would in a normal cash receipt journal. It picks up the amount, and when you post it, it will be applied. Now that you have created this deposit, you would normally count your cash and type in the amount that you have in cash before you post. We decided to post it as a lump sum, so we only expect to have one bank ledger entry. But of course, we would like to see in GL, they're posted to different accounts. Now we are ready to post this one. We set it as post as a lump sum. We could also go into the dimensions and say that we want a sales department. And because we already added line, it will ask if we want to override it, and we'll just say yes. These lines, GL lines, they don't have default dimensions, but now they have one for department. And if this customer didn't have department already as default for lines, it has now. And if I don't want it, I can just go in and overwrite the lines, just like in any document. Before we post, we can actually run the test report where we can show applications and dimensions. Just gives you a quick overview of what is in that deposit, just like other test reports. But let's get posted. Let's get it posted. When it is posted, we open the posted ones just so you can see it's there. In the bank deposit up here, you can say find entries, and it will try to look for bank ledger entries. And because we decided to post it as a lump sum, we have now posted a deposit number BD 00005. But of course, you also posted some GL entries and customer entries. So if you go to GL Register and you see the deposit, you can look up General Ledger and all the entries are there. There were also customer ledger entries because we had one customer in there that paid 800 and what was it, 40? Right there. So all the ledger entries are there. It's just that we have compressed the bank ledger entry. And the good part of doing that is that when you go to bank reconciliation, can't remember what date it is, so let's expand it a bit. I think we did it in May. Now we can see that it shows up here. It shows up as a one-liner because it's a lump sum. If we didn't add it as a lump sum, it would instead be 3 different lines. So that is the new capability. So with this release, you have some improvements to the bank statement report, the payment reconciliation journal, and you have a new feature called bank deposits. So now I'm in a US version. And in this version, because we are adding new capabilities that were already present in the US version. We've added new capabilities, so we want to improve the reconciliation process so that we have one single common bank reconciliation process, also for the North American versions. We did some improvements. Now we have a bank reconciliation in standard, like W1, the side-by-side, that does all the bank rec worksheet did in the US version or in the North American version. The US versions or the North American versions had a bank rec worksheet. Basically, it was a feature that allowed you to take in bank ledger entries and it would allow you to check them off whether you had them present in your bank statement or not. It wasn't a matching feature. But it did the work and it did it nicely for checks, and it split up checks and normal deposits, so it's easy to keep track of. And it also did some extra checks. So it's been heavily used and still is, but a good part, almost half now, has moved to the W1 version. And now we think the rest will be able to also use it. So with this release, we have set the bank rec worksheet to be deprecated, like pending. So it will still be there in the next 2 releases. And then by April, we'll take it out of the product. So you still have 12 months to actually move and check out the feature. If you did use the bank rec worksheet in the North American versions, obviously when you move to the standard way of doing things, you will still be able to look up what you posted using the old feature, both bank recs and deposits. We're not taking any information away from you. We're not deleting any data. And I will explain how it looks like in the demo coming soon. So move to the standard way of doing bank rec. Turn on the new feature. I'll show you in a second. You'll have a side-by-side, so you match your bank statement with your bank ledger entries. As you can see in the bottom part here, I had some checks. They didn't clear by this stage, so I just leave them open. With the new improvement we get in 21, I will be able to, when I post this, I will still be able to see that these checks were outstanding at the date of posting this bank rec. So it's on parity with the bank rec worksheet. You'll be able to import CSV files. You will be able to do the automatic posting. And when you move to this new feature, because it's actually 2 new features, it's moving to standard bank reconciliation, and it's also replacing North American deposit with bank deposits. It's very similar features, but it's 2 set of features. So you'll get that. And that means because bank deposit allowed you to post deposits as lump sum, so it's easier to manage in your bank rec. You don't have to, in the North American version, you would expand and collapse it, so you would view one line, but in your bank, you will still see the multiple lines. you will have a test report, and you will have a report for the posted ones that shows these outstanding details. So let's look at what it looks like for the, this section is only for the North American version. If I have an upgraded tenant and I don't turn on the feature, how will it look like? And by the way, we think we have feature parity, and that we actually offer a much better bankrec and deposits features. So when I create new tenants in the North American versions, you will automatically get the new features. There's a way to get back, but you automatically have this new feature. But let's say you upgrade it, and first you don't turn on the new feature. You will be able to go in and turn it on. But if you want to leave it, it's up to you. It's not turned on if you're on an upgraded tenant. And by the way, I just put it into the deck. It looks like it's turned on for all users, but as you can see, it's still disabled. That's just a small quirk for this feature. We had to do it. There was no way we could set it to none and disabled. If you open the page and feature management, this is the first feature you want to turn on. Just go out again and in again, and it looks normal. But nothing is wrong if it looks like this. This also means that it's a feature you can turn on and off. So if you turn it on and regret, you can turn it back on or back off in that case. If you're in the upgraded tenant and you didn't turn on the feature, the way that you control whether you want to use North American bankrec worksheet or standard side-by-side bankrec is in the general ledger setup page, where we have this bankrec with auto matching. And usually if you're doing the old way, you have it turned off. But still, if you have it turned on and you come from an upgraded version, you still have to turn on the feature to get bank deposits. When you turn it when you turn it on, you will actually be asked to go to feature management and turn on the feature. If you have not turned it on and you're using bankrec, when you open bank reconciliations, you will still open the old bankrec worksheet. Nothing has changed there. We have renamed the actions or controls for deposits, but because you didn't turn on the new feature, it will still just open the old page, just called deposits. So nothing has changed there. You didn't get a new feature because you didn't turn it on. We just changed the name in the menu. When you then search and using Tell Me, because we have two sets of pages in the system and we don't control it dynamically, but they're in the system, you will see them when you search for them, if you just search for deposits. If you pick bank deposits, because the old feature in North American version was called deposits, so you'll get to deposits with that one. But if you pick bank deposits, it will tell you that the feature is not turned on, and if you want to go to feature management. If you say no to that, we'll just tell you once more that it's not turned on and you cannot use it. And the same goes for posted deposits, which will take you to the North American posted deposits. And if you pick posted bank deposits, you'll get the same series, 2 messages like this one. So everything, if you don't turn on the feature, you'll stay on North American bankrec. But remember, we have set the feature to be deprecated. So consider moving on and tell us if there's something that you feel is missing before you can move on. But we did do a lot of checks that it is of course different, but we support the same processes. If you decide to turn it on, then you may have a different set of questions. Again, you want to turn it on. You've been using bankrec worksheet. If you have ongoing bankrec worksheets, or if you have ongoing deposits, you will not be able to turn it on. You have to either delete those or complete those, so that you don't have information hanging in ongoing documents when you move to the new feature. So that's what we're telling you. We'll block you from enabling that feature if you have such. But it's just delete them or complete them, and then you can move on. That also means that you have now moved on to the standard way of doing bankrec, and that you won't need the toggle that you had in GL. So we have removed that from the GL setup page. However, if there is a reason that you need to go back to North American bankrec worksheet, you just go to feature management and flip the feature flag back to like off. Then you will be able to be back as if you didn't turn it on. So you have turned on the feature, and now you want to look at bank deposits. Because you have turned on the new feature, we will open the new feature like bank deposits, because you have a new feature. You don't want to go to the old one. However, when you search, you will still see deposits. The pages are still there. But when you try to open deposits, the old one, we will instead tell you that we're opening the new one. You will not be able, with the feature turned on, you will not be able to create new records using the old feature. That should be obvious, but we make sure that you go to the new one instead. If you did post deposits using the old North American feature, and when you search for either deposits or posted deposits, you'll see two entries, one for posted deposits, one for posted bank deposits. If you use the posted deposits, we will just take you to the old posted deposits, so you can look them up and see how they looked. Maybe you need to review it for audit or internal controls, or just checking. You will still have access to your data that you created using the old features. And obviously, the new feature, if you click that, will just take you to, if you have any, posted deposits. The same with if you did posted bankrec worksheets. They were called, like the posted entries were called posted reconciliations. They are still accessible from the bank account list, and they will also in the next minor you'll be able to access them from the bank account card. So in this case, posted reconciliations will take me to reconciliations I did with the bankrec worksheet. So nothing is lost, you just have to find it. So here I have an upgraded tenant, and if I go to feature management, you can see, because the feature is down here almost at the bottom, standardized bankrec and deposits. It's not turned on. It says none, and if we look further, it's also disabled. So I come from an upgraded tenant and I haven't turned it on. The reason it looks normal is because I've of course played around with this tenant. So I didn't turn anything on, and I want to do a bankrec. And I'll do a new one, have the checking account. And it opens the North American bankrec worksheet. Everything normal. In my cash management, I have bank deposits. I open that. It will just take me, and we can just create a new one here, so we can see what the page looks like. As you can see, there's no lump sum. It's the old North American version of deposits. So we'll just go back. It's there, like it's. You didn't move to the new one. And if you look up your GL setup, somewhere down here, it's in the middle. It's bankrec with auto matching. And if I say I want to try out like a standard way of doing bankrec, we will tell you that the way to enable this is to go through the feature management. And I don't want to open that. Yeah, maybe I would, but anyway. So you come from an upgraded tenant, you stay with the old features. And by the way, deposits. You can see that you still have bank deposits. I click on it. The feature is not switched on, so do I want to go there or not? And I just say no, and I cannot use it. So I'll stay with the old set of features. Let's say that we've done either a sandbox testing, or we have faith in in the new set of features, and we've heard good recommendations, so we turn on this feature. So we go here and say for all users. Then it comes up with a warning, because I just to show that I was still using the Bankrec worksheets, I have an open document hanging, and we don't want that when we move to new features. So I'll get a warning, and I cannot move on and enable this feature. So what I have to do is to go to Bankrec and get rid of this one. It was just an empty one, nothing was in it. So we'll just delete it. Let's just make sure that we didn't create any deposits either. I can't remember whether it was created or not. Nothing. So we've cleared out any ongoing or open documents. All users. And it says that we need to sign in and out for the changes to take effect. So that's what we'll do. So now I have upgraded my tenant with a new set of features. So I will try to go and do a Bankrec. And just because I played around, I already have one. And you can see it side by side. So now I'm using the new set of features. If I want to do bank deposits, I will use the new feature. Let's just create one for the checking account. And I could continue just as I demoed before. It's all good. I can start using the new features, but you want to see what happened. Like you posted something for some of the other or the bank accounts using Bankrec worksheet. You will still be able to go in and see the posted bank reconciliations that you did. Like this one, I'll open it for you. This is done using the Bankrec worksheet. I still have it available. Nothing is lost or deleted. Same with deposits. I have if I try to use the old deposits, we'll just ignore your request and take you to the new ones. But I did have posted deposits using the old feature, and I'll just open that. You can already see from the number series that it's a bit different. This one is using the old one, doesn't have a lump sum posting or anything. So I still have access to my information that I created using the old features. And it also goes, if you started using the new feature, maybe you posted a deposit, you were happy, but you don't feel confident about Bankrec for some reason, you will still be able to go to feature management and get back to the old one. You'll still be able to do that for the next 2 releases. So check it out. Start using these features that almost half of North American users are already using today. We really want to move all of you to the new set of features. And if there's anything, let us know what's blocking you. Thank you for joining this session.